Is it mandatory that the Steelers draft a quarterback?
Wasn't Aller viewed at one point? He was like one of the top guys.
Yes.
Yeah, last year.
Right.
The year before, not this.
Yeah.
Well, and that's why when we talk about next year's draft supposed to be great,
it always
you just
change.
don't necessarily know. But I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna surprise you guys.
Really?
Will Howard.
Because they got this guy named Will
I
Howard.
know it. He loves Ohio State guys.
Will Howard
Ohio
started
State
about
quarterbacks are
30, played 50 college games.
Yeah.
Started about 30, won a national championship with Ohio State. I get it, they had a ton of talent around him, but he put up big numbers. He's 6'4", got the size.
6'4".
I'm just saying, here's the thing. I don't necessarily want two young so-so prospects, right? I don't need two young, maybe average type prospects in my quarterback room. So play Howard. Worst case scenario, he's horrible. Guess what? We are near the top of next year's draft, and maybe we get our quarterback then. So I think that's a better move than bringing in Aaron Rodgers, winning 8, 9, 10 games, making the playoffs maybe, and getting blasted in the first round. So I would tell Mike McCarthy, look, you're our coach. We're the Steelers. We don't fire guys haphazardly. You're our coach. If we are bad this year, we're all right.
So I'm fine with all that, but they should just keep throwing darts at quarterback. Because I know I put the moratorium on the Rodgers thing.
Yeah.
But this tangentially is a Rodgers thing. I just want to remind the audience, the owner of the Pittsburgh Steelers in January, it's tax day, it's April 15th, in January, said we expect a decision by Aaron in the next month or so. Okay, well, it's not here. They then amended it. They're like, we expect it by the draft. I don't know that they're getting it by the draft. And the Steelers, at the tail end of Big Ben, they drafted Josh Dobbs in the 4th round. That was a good pick. You know what I mean? That guy's still in the league. Like, even if it wasn't like that was, you threw a dart. They drafted Mason Rudolph in the 3rd round. That was a fun, like, for a quarterback, he's still in the league. It's been 8 years. In 2022, they drafted Kenny Pickett in the 1st round, and then also drafted Chris Olajuwon, who started a game for the couple games with the Chiefs last year, in the 7th round. They just drafted Will Howard in the 6th round. If you don't have a quarterback, every year you should draft one. And even if Aaron says he's coming, they should still draft one in the mid-rounds. Throw a dart. Hope you stumble onto Dak Prescott. It's very rare, but the value of that lottery ticket is so much higher than any other mid-round pick if you don't have the quarterback. So whether Rodgers is there or not, Brew, I would just add to it, because I don't know that the 6th round pick last year, Will Howard, will be better than a 5th round pick.
Yeah. I mean, listen. That's why I always love this word. It's like, well, listen, they're going to have to bolster the O-line for Aaron Rodgers. They have to bolster the O-line no matter who the quarterback is. Whether it's Aaron Rodgers, Drew Aller, Will Howard. And this is what they just said. They kind of shortchanged this where they said, oh, wasn't he supposed to be, Drew Aller? Wasn't he like a top, pick of originally? And now he's kind of really fallen, and they're like, next year's draft and all that. And that's the thing. It's always next year's draft. Next year's draft is always like the biggest best quarterback draft. Every year it's like that. They said that about this year. I remember it so vividly. And that's why Colin went on a whole rant. That's why Sean McVay traded the pick and passed on Jackson Dart, because next year this draft is supposed to be so deep, and that's what the Cleveland Browns are doing. That's why they traded their pick, like everyone's just waiting until this draft. Now people are like, I don't even know how good Mendoza is. People are questioning like, should the Raiders trade Mendoza? And it's just like, okay, so then it's always next year. It's always some other sweepstakes that you're chasing, right? Manning, whoever. And so it's just like, that's why I went on my whole rant yesterday about Ty Simpson, and it's like, if you believe in Ty Simpson, then just go and get Ty Simpson. That is where you just have to trust your own due diligence. It's not a matter of just throwing a dart at the wall like Nick is saying. You come up with a plan. And again, if you think Will Howard is the guy, well then go that direction. And I appreciate them, Dave. I guess essentially they've been they've been having visits with everyone. I actually appreciate that. I appreciate them doing their due diligence and trying to find the value. I really, really do. But I don't think this is like a whole thing where they're just waiting on Aaron Rodgers. It seems like it's a cut like Aaron Rodgers wants more money than the Steelers want to give up. This isn't just an Aaron Rodgers saying like, I don't know if I'm going to play or if I'm going to retire. At least that's not my read on the situation. And that's why I went on a whole rant where I'm like, if you think you got the quarterback, whether it be Will Howard, whether it be Ty Simpson, and you can go draft him, pay Aaron Rodgers cause the amount of money that you're going to pay him is not only for his production on the field, you get to sit the quarterback, and you get to learn and be mentored by Aaron. That's worth, the extra money without a shadow of a doubt. If you don't feel like playing that game, then yes, trot out will then just move on from Aaron Rodgers. RS. Bring out Will Howard. If he succeeds and wins, that's awesome. If he's not, he's terrible. Well now you're in apparently 2027 is going to be the best quarterback draft, right? And then maybe you're in the Manning sweepstakes or whatever name you want to throw out there. Great. Then it becomes a victory. So, to me it in a lot of ways it actually becomes very straightforward. If you think you have the quarterback, you're your quarterback of the future right now in Will Howard or maybe even Drew Aller or maybe Ty Simpson or something, pay Aaron Rodgers. Have the quarterback sit for another year. Have him mentor, etc. etc. You get to continue to build up the roster. Blah 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 blah. If you don't think you have that quarterback of the future necessarily, right? And maybe you're on the fence. Maybe it's an in-between. It's specifically now with Will Howard. Well, then I would at this point say there's no reason to do the whole song and dance with Aaron Rodgers. Put out Will Howard. And again, best case scenario, he's awesome. And the other best case scenario is he's awful and now you get to draft at the top of the order next year. Either way, it ends up being a win-win then. And honestly, if you're going to look at it through that lens at that point, then it's like stop doing the song and dance with Aaron Rodgers. To me, Aaron Rodgers makes the most amount of sense when you're trying to mentor and transition into your quarterback of the future. That is actually the only path forward that makes the most amount of sense to me. That's what I would do at this point. And anything else just feels like you don't really have a plan. You're kind of just like you're just trying to make the best of a situation. And that's not how you typically when you need to have a plan, not just make the best of a short-term situation. If you're constantly just making the best of a short-term situation, by definition it's always just kind of like a band-aid, right? It's always kind of like, oh, I have a leak. Let me just put I have another thing in here. Let me just you're always doing kind of a fixer-upper here rather than being like, no, you know what? Here's my plan. We got to redo this. We got to redo that. I got to fix I got to do this. You know what? This house is actually not good. I got to move. This apartment's not good. I got to move. I'm moving to a new city. I'm moving to a new town. Like you're always just trying to survive rather than thrive. And it's just like that's why I keep saying, what's the plan? Have the plan and execute. Have the plan and execute. Don't just keep trying to just make do with what you have. So yeah, the Steelers continue to be in kind of this weird just floating space where it's just like what's your plan? I can look at other teams that actually clearly have a concrete plan. I see it with the Tennessee and MS that have been bad and struggling. I see it with the Tennessee Titans. I see it. It makes sense. I see it with the Las Vegas Raiders. It makes sense. It's clear. It's cut. You understand what the path they're looking to do to move forward. Like you see it. It's a straight line. This song and dance right now with the Steelers, I'm like, what are you trying to accomplish right now? What is the situation? So, I'm curious where this lands. Is it a Ty Simpson? Is it a Durrell or is it a Will Howard? Is it Aaron Rodgers? Like I find it frustrating cause I think the Pittsburgh Steelers are too great of a franchise, have too great of a history, and I don't really care about the history when it comes down to things. I care about what are we doing right now? But I'm thinking about the fans and all of that, and I'm just like you should I don't know. I should have a better sense of you being a better run franchise in this moment. I should be able with a team like the Pittsburgh Steelers, I should be able to have a lot of excitement right now in April about all the potential of the things that they can do. And yet I'm overflowing with potential with the Las Vegas Raiders and the Tennessee Titans and stuff, and I'm I could not be more excited about the moves that those teams are making. Heck, even the New York Giants. And yet I'm looking at the Pittsburgh Steelers, I'm on a spectrum. I'm not calling you the New York Jets. You're certainly not the New York Jets. But on a spectrum you're closer to the New York Jets than how I feel that the Las Vegas Raiders are moves that they're making again. Even a team like the Tennessee Titans went out and got an awesome defensive coach, got an awesome offensive coordinator who has worked with obviously elite quarterbacks in his past. And it's just okay, I see what you're doing. I see the moves that you made in free agency. Is every single thing a home run and a grand slam? No. But I see the moves. I see the trajectory of what you're looking to do. And if Kenny Pickett ends up being the quarterback that you hope he is, you're going to have a ton of success over these next couple of years in the short term, and then the rest is just, how do you do in the draft and free agency etc. etc. I see the path. I see what they're looking to do. The Pittsburgh Steelers, I'm what's the plan for this year? Then what trajectory are you looking to lead right now? What's the plan here? Where are you trying to move into right now? It's I don't know. And do the Steelers even know? But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Pittsburgh Steelers? And, pretty much their plan, right? 1 minute we're talking about Ty Simpson, next minute we're talking about Durrell, next minute it's Will Howard, next minute it's Aaron Rodgers. Where do you stand with the Pittsburgh Steelers? Let me know your thoughts. I read every single comment. So, do you agree with me or disagree with me? Either way, let's get some discussions, get some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. Please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here. I'd absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all generally feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. It really does help the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.